Sensex settles 573 points lower, Nifty below 24,750 ITC, IndusInd Bank fall 2 each. Sensex today. Indian equity markets tumbled on Friday, tracking sharp declines in Asian peers, as geopolitical tensions flared up following Israel's military strikes on Iran. A spike in crude oil prices added to investor concerns, dragging down benchmark indices and broader markets. The BSE Sensex dropped 573.6 points, or 0.70, to close at 81,118.60 after touching an intraday low of 80,354.59. The NSE Nifty 50 slipped 169.6 points, or 0.68, to settle at 24,718.6. Broader markets also ended lower, with the Nifty Midcap 100 down 0.24 and the Nifty Small Cap 100 shedding 0.43. Sectorally, indices ended mixed. Nifty PSU Bank and Nifty FMCG led the losers, falling over 1 each. Other laggards included Nifty Metal, Financial Services, Auto, Energy, Pharma, Consumer Durables, and Oil Gas. Among the 30 Sensex constituents, 26 stocks ended in the red. Adani Ports, ITC, IndusInd Bank, State Bank of India, and HDFC Bank fell over 1 each. In contrast, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Sun Pharma, and Maruti Suzuki managed to post gains. Brent crude prices surged amid the heightened conflict, with WTI crude climbing 8.57 to 73.87 per barrel. Market volatility also spiked, with India VIX THE fear gauge rising 7.6 to end at 15.08, reflecting growing investor nervousness over geopolitical instability. And the sell-off extended to the broader markets as well. The Nifty Small Cap Index dropped 1.59%, while the Nifty Midcap Index declined 1.44%. Sectoral indices across the board were in negative territory. Nifty Oil Gas, IT, PSU Bank, and auto indices all fell by up to 2%, reflecting widespread investor caution. And in more positive domestic economic news, India's retail inflation fell to 2.82% in May, down from 3.16% in April, its lowest level since February 2019, when it stood at 2.57%. The decline was driven by a favorable base effect, a steep fall in vegetable prices, and the sharpest drop in pulses prices in over 6 years. The data provides further room for the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) to maintain its current policy stance in the coming months. And Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed on Friday as reports of an Israeli military strike on Iran weighed on investor sentiment, even as Wall Street closed higher on encouraging U.S. economic data. Israel launched a preemptive strike on Iran early Friday, Defense Minister Israel Katz said, following U.S. President Trump's warning of a possible Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear sites. Katz added that a missile and drone retaliation from Iran is expected soon. A state of emergency has been declared. Even that, Nikkei dropped 1.16%, and the topics fell a little over 1%. The Kospi declined 0.67%, while ASX 200 slipped 0.17%. US stock futures edged lower in early trade, but key indexes are set to end the week in positive territory. May producer prices in the US rose just 0.1% below the 0.2% forecast, boosting market confidence after a similarly soft consumer inflation report earlier this week. The data supported a drop in bond yields and lifted equities. Overnight, Wall Street saw broad gains. The S&P 500 climbed 0.38%. The Nasdaq Composite rose 0.24%, while the Dow Jones gained 0.24%. And gold prices climbed to a 1-week high on Thursday, supported by escalating Middle East tensions and softer U.S. economic data, which strengthened expectations of a potential Federal Reserve rate cut. Spot gold rose 1.1% to $3,387.99 an ounce, while US gold futures surged 2.0% to 3,410.70. Swipe left for next video. And crude oil prices jumped more than 13 on Friday to hit the highest in more than 2 months after Israel said it struck Iran, raising concerns of over-disruption in oil supplies due to the escalating tensions in the Middle East. Brent crude oil spiked 12.82 to 78.25 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures rallied 13.48 to 77.21. Latest blogs.